Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team, welcome back. Game 2 of the rookie camp, the prospect challenge, whatever we call it. I don't know, it feels like the name changes every year. But I actually got to watch this one, which was, fun for me. And I gotta be honest, I think I said in the last video that these rosters didn't really give a lot of reason to get excited, right? And I just want to say right away, I think I was probably right on that. I think I nailed that. And I don't even mean to be a negative Nancy here, because it really isn't all that negative. It's just not. It's a lot of invitees. A lot of the guys who didn't get drafted or aren't ready to be drafted. This is what we got, right? And there's some things to be excited about, I guess. There's some things to compliment, but there's a lot there that you just go, I don't know, a lot of these guys aren't great skaters. A lot of these guys aren't great with the puck on their stick. I mean, at the level that we consistently watch hockey, it's obviously not going to be there. But the haves and have-nots out on the ice, I mean, it's pretty obvious who's who in that realm, right? But I'm going to talk about a couple of pros, a couple of positives, and a couple of negatives, right? Not to overcomplicate things. We should probably go one for one here. I don't want to do all positive and all negative. Let's go one for one. But let's start with the positive. Jackson Edward, a name that you know, a name of a guy who potentially will play in the NHL someday, right? His path is a little difficult right now because we have a lot of defensemen locked up for a long time. He's a vicious physical presence, and he's gotten to allow that to shine a little bit through this camp. The reason I want to point him out as a positive is he's clearly working on his blue line play, because something that I've noticed with him through this couple of days, more so than I did previously, is how much he wants to get the puck to the net. And he's actually doing a really good job of getting that done. One of my biggest pet peeves, and if you've watched this channel for a while, you've heard me say it a ton, you can't just shoot the puck into the first guy in front of you if you're on the point, because it's always a dangerous situation on the way back. I know it's going to happen sometimes. It can't consistently happen. And what he's doing consistently is getting the puck on the blue line and making a decision right away. That puck is either moved to his D partner, sent back down the boards, or he makes a move on the guy coming towards him and launches it at the net. Those choices happen immediately, though. It doesn't appear that there's hesitation. He's not trying to overthink it, and he can work the blue line enough at this level to get past the first guy and get the puck on net. I don't know if that's really going to translate up. I don't think he's a offensive threat as a defenseman, really, but it is nice to see improvement in that area of his game. A negative. Let's see. Kuntar. Trevor Kuntar is a fourth line guy, grinder, who we expected to at least make a push this camp. Not to come out of this camp on the team, but to be a presence this year in the preseason camp. So far, I've never been really a Kuntar guy. And last year, I didn't think he looked very good for large stretches of the year. I don't think he's starting out in a great way. He's been feisty. He's physical. You notice him when he's out there, which is all positives. You're also noticing that he's exceptionally sloppy with the puck. This weekend, I've never really loved all of his decisions and his puck handling, but in this game in particular, he turned the puck over in our own zone consistently. Lost the puck in the offensive zone consistently. Loves to get the puck to the net, which you're not really going to be upset about, but at the weirdest angles. It would wrap around the boards and escape the zone. It just wasn't a positive influence by any means. And a big goal against, he had the puck in the slot in our own zone. Player just came in and stripped him of it and scored. And it was just one of those moments where you go, dude, pick your head up. What are you doing? You're supposed to be one of the better guys out there. No, just not super impressed with Trevor Kuntar. I don't think he's had a good rookie prospect challenge thing so far. Another positive. Riley Duran is the best Bruin out there, by far. He forced his opponents into mistakes consistently. His forecheck is excellent. His neutral zone play has been really good. Defensively, I've really liked his game. And offensively, he gets the puck to the net in advantageous situations constantly. He's excellent at recovering pucks. Everything about a fourth-line motor guy, Riley Duran is in. He's your dude for that kind of role. And I think he's just showing that again. I don't think anyone can watch these games and not think that he's at very least one of the top 2 Bruins out there. I've really liked what he's shown so far, and I think he's going to continue to show it. He was my prediction for the guy who we walk out of this rookie camp where there's just a little too much hype about him because people love to get overexcited. It looks like I might be wrong about that because Brett Harrison's going to join the conversation. Technically, it's time for a negative, so I'm going to give the negative, but there's a positive for Harrison too. The negative is Harrison has benefited greatly in this game from his line mates making plays, and he's finishing them. There's a role for that in the NHL. A guy who is a trigger man on a line and finishes it. But he is doing nothing elsewhere. Not strong on the forecheck, not forcing turnovers or anything like that. Not good defensively by any means. Lazy through the neutral zone. He's cherry picking consistently up the ice for breakouts, which is like great. Yeah, when we're breaking it out, he's out of the zone though, and turnovers are happening in our own zone, and he's out of the zone by a mile. There's a lot to dislike about his game when he's not shooting the puck. The positive is his finish is still awesome. Like, he has 2 goals, I think, so far. There's like 3 minutes left of the third period of this Blue Jackets game. I just figured I'd jump on a little earlier. His finish is still great. His finish is still great. It's just everything else isn't. And for those who are going to be more box score watchers through this, because obviously not a ton of people are going to watch these games, they're going to go, hey, this guy had 2 goals through 2 games, and I think he had an apple in there too, maybe 2 apples. They're going to get excited about it. He's not, if you want to talk about like, well, he's scoring, we need scoring. People complain about certain players not being a Bruins type player, not being physical, aggressive, big bad Bruins style. No one will get more complaints than Brett Harrison would if he was in the NHL. You want to talk about soft. People will call, I don't like that word. I don't like that definition for people. I think it's kind of simple. But this is a guy that everyone would call soft constantly. Constantly. We're up for another positive. Let's do another positive. Lok Johansson, a late round draft pick in this most recent draft. We've talked about him a couple times this summer. He's out there. And he looks good. I would argue he's one of our better defensemen in this game. I really liked what he did. I wouldn't say he was great, but he was consistent. He was in the right position. He would get the puck on net, had an apple for that too. Not bad. 18 years old. This is exactly the kind of kid that the rookie camp is for. He gets to really get into it, gets to measure himself against this level of competition, knows that he's a few years away. Good start for him. Just genuinely a good start for a late round draft pick that is going to need a lot of steps being taken to reach next level. Speaking of guys like that, Ryan Mast. This is a negative. I'm kind of done bringing him up at this point. It just doesn't look like he can skate. He's not good with the puck. He's sloppy all over the place. And yeah, physically he gets in front of people, blocks some shots, but he is so far. He feels like he's just as far from the NHL as when he was first drafted and he was a 4 or 5 year project. So I'm going to stop bringing him up. The last positive is kind of fake. Hilton was the only invitee that I thought stood out a little bit. And into the negative, barely. Yes, he had a couple big hits. He had a goal. He had a fight. Great. I thought he was really bad through the neutral zone. Not good defensively. Sloppy with the puck on his stick. Consistently got caught behind plays. Because I started to watch him more. Because he was sticking out. And I didn't like what I saw. And then I started just kind of thinking about it and realizing that none of the invitees, which there are a ton of them for this camp, really stood out at all. Initially, Oakes, the goaltender who wasn't even supposed to be here, made a huge save and then looked really not great through most of the rest of the game. That sounds really harsh, but genuinely, a lot of bad skaters, a lot of weird decisions getting made. And yeah, this is the level we're watching, but you do want one or two of these guys to stand out. I just felt like no one did. Hilton was the only one, and it was for good reasons and bad reasons. So kind of disappointed in that. Obviously, we have another game to go, but kind of expected one of these guys to at least, make you raise an eyebrow or two. And the last negative, which is a slight negative, is Farinacci, who led our rookie skaters in scoring in the AHL last year. I kind of expected him to look better. I expected him to be, the stronger side of Bruins against this level of competition, because he's just been playing against more seasoned guys. And I don't think he stood out. I think he consistently made the right play. I think he was solid, but I did expect him to overall stand out amongst these players a lot more. And I didn't see that really at all. Couple good plays here. He's responsible. He's a quiet player, but I just really expected him to look a lot better compared to these guys. Which also kind of offers the question of why is he here? When guys like Lysell and Merkulov are being held out of this for the purpose of being ready for the preseason camp. Farinacci was never a favorite to make the team, but you'd think he would also be competing for some bottom 6 minutes. But not a good start for him, I would say. Not a bad one, not a net negative one, just not a good one. And that feels like a negative, if that makes sense. Either way, I get to watch some Bruins hockey, which is huge, and I love it, and I'm very excited about it, because that means we are very, very, very close to the season starting. I'm so excited. Oh, God, it's been such a long wait. Go Bees. Go Bees!